It's up in there. You see it's all coming together. And then we're going to add our seasoning. We have some cayenne pepper. Let me just give them a mix up so it doesn't all go in one place. So we're going to add the dried thyme, a little bit of paprika, and cayenne pepper. I said cayenne pepper, right? Yeah, so it's a good one. Yeah. Occasion, a little bit of Cajun, sorry. And we don't forget we've got the dried bay leaf. Right, so we've got all that going. You see it's all coming together nicely. I want to try and just get a little bit more before I add the chopped tomatoes. We have like 2 15-ounce cans of fresh chopped tomatoes going in. And then we're just leaving it to cook, like on a slow heat. Now what I did, I pre-cooked my rice, brown rice, whole grain. So it's another alternative. See, I have the tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, that's going to go in there in like 2 seconds. I just want to make sure that the spices get fragrant, which they're working on. It's pretty. It is pretty fragrant now, the smell. Right, so now I'm going to add the crushed tomatoes.
That's like 4 cups?
That's actually 2 15-ounce cans.
Okay. Great, it looks great.
Okay, so we're going to let that cook up. And I will show you at the end that it should be done. Really quick, and the sausage is already cooked. So there's something that we do not have to worry about. It's just getting like the vegetables. I'm going to just put a top on it and leave it, turn it down a little bit so it like steams all in. And over here, this is the brown rice. And then this is the finished product. I mixed all the ingredients with fresh parsley as a garnish. So you can see like the fresh parsley, all the veggies in there. You've got celery, carrots, you know, you've got a lot of good stuff in there. Now, traditionally, okra goes in a jambalaya. I didn't put the okra directly in because it can be a little sticky and I didn't want it to turn sticky. So I steamed some okra this morning and put it on the side. So you can always add to your dish however you want. It's a really, really great vegetable. It helps with diabetes. It's helps lower blood pressure. There's a lot of great things about okra. Now, the water of the week, I did cucumber and pineapple, and it is delicious. I already had some. So there's your pineapple and cucumber water. I actually ran out of time and I forgot the lemons. I really wanted to show you how to make apple cider. Of course, a hot apple cider during around Thanksgiving time, fall time is really delicious. I use a little bit of this. I water it down a lot, add ginger and add lemon, and it has to.
It's a beautiful jambalaya. Now we're going to show you, I call it like my pebble salad. You'll see why. But it's actually, I'm going to do a salad. It's kind of like a warm salad. And it's made with tiny little potatoes. Look at these little guys who I already steamed. So these are steamed potatoes, like that's why I call it my pebble. And then I'm going to use some Brussels sprouts, some sauteed. I have some, you can do any greens that you'd like. I have some baby kale here. So first of all, I'm going to show you, I have some garlic, which I already kind of like chopped a little bit. I'm going to just keep chopping, and I just put some oil, a little olive oil in my pan. I'm going to saute this garlic, and I'm going to add the baby kale. If you don't have baby kale, we'll use baby spinach. So here we go. We're going to put it in. Let me just move it so you can see it. Oh. Here's my pan. Is a hot oil. I'm using olive oil. And you hear that sizzle? That's exactly what we want to hear. Get your little non-stick or wooden spoon for this. While this comes, I'm going to give it just a little bit of color. Meanwhile, I'm also going to show you, because we're going to poach eggs. I'm going to show you how to poach eggs. So this is a little pot with water, and I'm getting it hot. I'm going to, I'll show you in a bit how to poach an egg. It's going to be very simple. So it's a really nice, elegant, very simple salad with ingredients that you are easy to get. So you see that getting a little color there? That's all it needs. And then I'm going to have my baby kale directly in there. Any kind of green will do. You hear that sizzle? So this is the time when we're just, and takes no time. It's just, and you know that it's also a little bit kind of wilts really fast. And you can season it lightly with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Sure, I like to use tongs just to give a little, and if you see it, it takes almost no time. So now basically I'm gonna turn it off. You see how it's just like getting in, so I'm turning it off. I'm putting it aside. I don't like it completely wilted. So that's it, that's why I turn it off, and I'm gonna move it to the side. And I wanna show you my boiling water. So poaching is key, but it's like you do not want a bubbling full on boil. This is like a little bit too much. I'm waiting it to cool. While it cools a little bit, I'm gonna show you how fresh eggs, this is key. And get a little bit of a bowl, some kind of bowl of any kind. And that's where you're going to like crack the egg directly in here. Go in here, and so this is a little trick because that way, oh, see that way this one broke. That's what happened. So I'm gonna get another bowl. I want to have it, so I'm gonna crack this other egg. Hopefully this one will be whole. Yeah, there it is. That's part of the risk, right? We're real cooking. So I want to show you because I like this strategy.
That's right.
Of, I like the strategy of poaching eggs because you don't need any extra oil in it. It's very simple. Some people like to put in their water some vinegar. I don't. I just pure water. This is a pan. Any pan will do. So enough water for it to sink. So you see those little. This is hard to control, but you could barely want a little bit of a. I'm going to be turning it on and off in this burner because it's pretty harsh. But anyway, so what I do is just with my. You're going to get a slotted spoon. And then you can do a little bit of a circular motion in it, just like that, not too much. And that's it. You're gonna, with your, the egg is gonna go right in the middle, boom, like that. And you're gonna start turning around. So this is where I have to be careful and getting in and out the heat. And so you see how it just starts like folding it on itself. So we're gonna let it be there for a second while I'm gonna show you how to clean the sprouts. So the sprouts, really easy. These have been washed already. So we're gonna trim them just like that. And I like to remove like the dark green part, just like that, a few of them. I won't use these. And then the same thing, like that. And like that. That's all you need to do. So what I'm gonna do for this ones, and I did some earlier, you cut them in half, and then you can toss them with a little bit of olive oil and put them in a sheet pan, and then you're gonna get this version. These are, you cut, just put them in the oven at 350 for maybe 15, 20 minutes, depending how they are, and then this is how you get them. Really nice. So now I'm gonna show you how we're doing with the egg. I had to turn the heat off right now because it was getting too hot. But did you see? There it is. It is getting shaped. So it's up to you. Some people said like, oh, they don't like runny eggs. So you could cook it as long as you want. But so far he's been what, like like a little bit like over a minute and see how it's kind of like just floating in the bottom. That's great. So it's cooking. So that's where you're gonna get your slotted spoon to pick it out in a minute. So I want to show you how we're gonna plate this. As showed you before, we have now our sprouts. We also have these potatoes that I steam and I cut them in half. So these are slightly warm, or you can warm them just before serving. So this is where we're going to put our beautiful wilted baby kale right down there with the delicious golden garlic. So you made like a nest in there. And
That looks
then,
great.
then you put your little bit of potatoes and then a little bit of your sprouts, just like that. And then the egg. And we're gonna garnish it with a little bit of scallions. If you have parsley, if you have other things, I'm gonna just slice little scallions, a little bit, just a little. I love them. It could be also like red onion too. Back to our egg. You see, it's almost there. But yeah, it's just like you can pop it in. You can, but this, remember, it says slotted spoon, so it takes all the liquid. And what I like to do is I like to get some paper towels. Oops. So I put a little bit of paper towels underneath so that the water, you don't want a lot of the water. You can even flip it a little bit to soak up all the water. Actually, a lot of restaurants, they flip water. So now we're going to bring our plate here. And you just put it in there. What I like is then you can, this is a good time when you can season it lightly, a little pepper, a little bit of salt on the top. In some restaurants, they will, like before serving it, they actually will go with like little scissors and just cut it like that so that it oozes a little bit into the, can you see it? Liquidy yolk is what
Yes,
it also
looks
kind of
great.
adds a little bit of like the sauce for the baby kale and the tomatoes. And this is it. You can put a little hot sauce in it, but it's like a nice little, oh, and then sprinkle it with your scallions. And that's it. Good things about this, I wanted to do a little bit of a focus on iron, source of iron. That's always said with eggs, little goes a long way. Don't have it as often. Occasionally it's good, but it does have a good level of iron. It happens that also Brussels sprouts have a lot of good iron. And I wanted to dispel one myth. People say that vegetarian diets don't get enough iron because a lot of people associate iron with beef, with like liver and things like that. Well, so there's different kinds of iron. One that you get it from animal-based, and another was from plant-based. And it is true that if you only have like a vegan diet, you get lower amounts of iron. But that doesn't mean you get not enough iron. It just happens that your body makes changes in your body because it is able to absorb iron better than otherwise. And that has to do also with interesting thing, that is high levels of vitamin C that plant-based diets have, which as this happens in the Brussels sprouts, have a lot of vitamin C on their own. So it actually helps increase the absorption that people eating meat will not necessarily get those levels of absorption. So just keep an eye on that. It's just another good thing. Obviously, you have to, if you have problems with anemia, that's due to iron deficiency, but that can only be determined by blood tests. Don't diagnose yourself. There has to be a blood test. The doctor has to be shown. Women of childbearing age can have lower iron because of that's their life cycle where they are. But women over age 50 actually don't need as much iron. Their requirements can be almost like less than a third than what women of childbearing age. Other good source of iron, obviously we said egg, we said the Brussels sprouts. Pinto beans are also great to have. So there you go. So just keep an eye, but don't over obsess on iron, but make a little nice hearty. I love this as my winter dinner. This is an option of the jambalaya. Sometimes it's done with shrimp. So this one we did it with tilapia. So it's not a bad idea. If you have, you have all the vegetables and all the ingredients, you can use, yeah, if you have catfish, you can use it. I prefer catfish than tuna, but tuna you could add it last minute too. I wouldn't cook it because obviously I'm assuming you get like canned tuna, but for the canned tuna, you can add it last minute. I'm not a fan of tuna just because of its high level of mercury. So I always try to get more like lighter ones, like in this case, like Sam did with tilapia. Question. Yeah, I always get this question. Can you add bacon to the Brussels sprouts? It seems like everyone adds bacon to the Brussels sprouts. Well, yeah, that's another different way
Wait,
of.
what about turkey bacon?
You can do a little turkey bacon, but remember that
Yeah.
if you add bacon, you're having an egg. The egg has a lot of cholesterol. If you add bacon, but be it turkey or be it pork, it also added more saturated fat and cholesterol too. So just keep an eye on it. I don't say you don't. Maybe you add the bacon and you're not going to have it with the egg or something like that. But try to balance it out. A little goes a long way, and sometimes you can add just maybe a slice of bacon that is crisp earlier, and then you blot a little bit of the fat, and then you can crush it on top of it. That's another way, but just be careful just the amount. But yeah, if you have fresh tuna, you can add it, and you can cook it like shown with Sam.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to run back and show them the jambalaya now, because and this is how you know, like when it's like kind of cooked, the fish breaks very easy. You see that? It's just like kind of just broke very easy. You would add your brown rice, and that's how you would have your
Yeah,
that's how you have your jambalaya. And as I said before, there's loads of go ahead. There's loads of veggies in there, so that's really it really fills you up and it's good for you.
Yeah, rather than tuna, another option that I kind of like for this is also another possibility is cod. You can use cod, and also it'll flake just like Sam was saying. So that's another nice option for it. Thing, remember, for bacon, any kind actually, is pork or turkey. Unfortunately, they do have a lot of nitrates in it, and those are harmful. Actually, there are studies, and the UN and the World Health Organization did say that regular use of bacon in any shape or form, or like sausages, that's another example, because they have these nitrates, are cancer promoting.
Some bacons out there I noticed in Trader Joe's, and the sausage that I actually brought yesterday is nitrate free. I don't know how, that's what the packaging says. So if you want to look out for something like that, look out for something like that, but you don't need it too often.
Bacalao is codfish. I mean, it's cod, just dried cod. So yes, the bacalao, the dry form, but remember that one's really heavy in salt. So you need to soak it many times and then rinse them. But yes, that would be equivalent to adding cod. Just make sure to rinse it really well and add just a little bit. Again, this is like a good example of that the jambalaya that Sam did. Just a little bit of the fish. You're getting all these other vegetables and everything in it. So a little goes a long way. So you could definitely use bacalao if you have it well soaked. And just make sure, even if you soak it really well, the bacalao, try not to season any salt in the dish first, because you're going to put the bacalao, and even if you've soaked it a lot, you'll still have a lot of salt. So then you may end up being really salty if you add salt on top of it.
Yeah, that's something you have to be really careful with. Like, I didn't put any kind of salt. I actually used vegetable broth vegetable broth inside my rice, but I didn't use any additional salt because there's a lot of in the rice. Some people add salt to the brown rice, excuse me. And with the jambalaya, I feel like there's enough in the jambalaya to actually take care of the rice, and it's actually very good. So definitely lay off the salt in codfish big time. I wouldn't even put salt in the
Right.
in the rice whatsoever if you're going to use like a dried fish, because it's very, very salty. Yeah.
My view on pink salt, that's a marketing technique. It's a lot more expensive than just regular salt. It seasons as well as the other one. Pink salt is used in fancy restaurants as a finishing salt, but basically you sprinkle a little bit on top, and it makes it like nice and it's flaky. It doesn't have any extra nutrition that is worth buying. And if you see the price per pound, it's like, I think it's like over like 10 times more expensive than just regular salt. So you can have it, but it's like, don't definitely use it as a substitute for salt because that'll be pretty pricey. And don't expect any like really big advantage on nutrition. Um, it's more like a marketing gig. So save your money, use regular salt. One as well, hang in there, and see you next week.